Hi, Martin Roberts from Homes Under the Hammer here, and it's lovely to be back with another DIY inspired bit on the Not Going Out Club. How are you getting on? Are you coping? It's all a bit weird still, isn't it? I hope you're managing to at least maybe Skype or Zoom friends and family, and maybe they've written to you, going back to the old thing of writing perhaps. But whatever, I hope you're managing to find things to entertain you and pass the time, maybe going out on some walks if you're able to do so, and hopefully, you know, the weather will be kind on us and continue, and we will get through this. I mean, all I think is that every day that passes, we're, you know, a day closer to when it's all over. And I guess that's what you have to think about, and that's how positive you have to be. But hopefully we're managing to entertain you on the Not Going Out Club with the lovely people at Saga and all my other people who are doing their little bits on this club, or in this club for you. So my bit is DIY. Obviously, you know me from property and stuff like that, but I do a lot of DIY. I grew up doing DIY. My dad was a massive DIY fan. Everything, the whole house was just constantly having stuff done in it. Things never got quite finished. And I think I've also inherited my love of keeping things. Now, much to my wife's annoyance, I have inherited this thing about just keeping stuff. I am a hoarder. I can't throw things away, a little nut, a screw. I mean, I've got sheds, I've got 8 sheds that are all full of things that just might come in useful. But I have to say, right now, they are coming in useful because I'm managing to make all sorts of things. I've actually started my own YouTube channel, which has got lots of stuff on there, lots of fun stuff about property, about people who are in property, behind the scenes of Homes Under the Hammer, as well as some DIY project ideas that you can do with things you've got around and about the house, and also some DIY ideas that kids can get involved in, maybe kids or grandkids at some point in the future. So take a look at that, and if you want to see the projects which I'm sort of doing in their full length, then go to Martin Roberts Property Tidbits. But very briefly, I wanted to just do just a little bit of inspiration for you for this week's little insert, DIY insert, and that is just to get you thinking about what you might have lying around that you could use as a shelf. We all need shelves, okay? Stuff to put stuff on, or things to put stuff on, and there's all sorts of imaginative things you can do. You can start thinking about cutting things in half, random things that you might have lying around that you can create an amazing funky shelf out of. But I'm going to just go back to some basics and think about shelves that you can make out of wood. I'm a huge fan of wood, and I want to try and just remind you that even a mangy old piece of wood like this, which is an old floorboard, that is actually old pine and done up properly, and I say that sanded basically and then oiled or waxed. That would really be quite beautiful. Here's another bit of wood I had lying around. Now this, I think, judging by the fineness of the grain, is mahogany, or I'm not sure what. Clearly I wouldn't buy mahogany these days unless it was responsibly sourced, but I don't think you can responsibly source mahogany, so I think we'll probably give mahogany a miss. But there is lots of this stuff lying around. This was an old, I think it might have been an old window ledge or something like that. But what I wanted to show you for this particular bit was this. Now, whoa, crikey. There goes the lights. This is an old bit of wood. Now, I bought this in the local wood store, and it's actually, I think, a bit of elm or something like that. And it's got one straight face, and it's got one very waney face. Waney? Is that right? Waney edged? Wavy? Well, anyway, whatever the word is, kind of face. So I think that is a shelf in the making. So all I'm going to do right now is sand this. Can I just remind you, you probably know this, but I need to talk to you about sandpaper. There's lots of different sandpapers you can get. They're graded by the coarseness, and look, so that's extra coarse, and that number is 40. Next we've got coarse, and that number is 60. And then we've got fine, and that's 120, and we've got extra fine, and that's 240. So when you're sanding things, you really want to start with coarse, although I wouldn't go extra coarse because that's really vicious stuff. So I'll probably start with coarse, gradually work through to fine, and then up on the extra fine. It's fairly obvious. And in terms of what we're going to put on the finished thing, I've got a choice. I've got some beeswax, and I've also got some stuff which I absolutely love called Danish oil, which is really easy to use, but we'll try with the beeswax. Now, in order to sand this off, I'm going to make sure that I'm wearing protective goggles and also a face mask, and I'm going to use an electric sander. These things are really cheap to buy. It's just that's a residue from last time I used it, and basically you just have a sticky pad which you just put on the sander like that, and it vibrates. It saves a lot of hassle. So all I'm going to do is get that piece of wood and I'm going to sand it, and by the magic of TV we're going to speed it all up. But let's just see what only sanding does to create a bit of a shelf. Okay, woo! So that didn't take long. If only you could do that in real life sometimes, eh? This is the really fun bit. I'm not going to show you all of this done, but I just want to show you what just putting on a little bit of wax will do to this wood. Okay, you can see what I'm really excited about is all these knots. They're going to come up so beautifully. So let me just do this little area in the middle to show you what it's going to be like. So I'm using the beeswax, just putting it on, rubbing it in. Now I'll finish this off in a little bit. Now you're supposed to leave this to dry before you polish it, but let's not do that. Let's just have a look at this. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but can you see how amazing that would be and how beautiful that would be when it was finished? So there you go. Really this week all I wanted to do was inspire you about stuff you might have lying around to try to see the beauty that's underneath the surface. Oh wow, that could be a metaphor, couldn't it? Listen, stay safe, stay sane, try to stay happy, and I'll be back with more DIY inspiration next time.